After finishing the previous video on this Gratkit dryer, this one also developed the same fault. So I'll just show you. It powers up, nothing on the screen, and you know it's getting power because the tilt alarm still works. So I've gone back to the Gratkit engineer, and it's an issue they've known about with the cable just here. This screen cable, it's a point of failure. It's a tricky one to work on because it sticks together and then it just snags. So they sent me out a replacement cable, which you can see here. And what they've done, on the point where it will reach the hinge for the lid, they've just put a little bit of non-stick material there just to reinforce it and also to stop it sticking to itself or to the edge of the lid. So along with that was a little bit of paper, just a brief idea of what it is, and and a quick link there you can follow to get to the original guide to fit the screen cable. So I printed that out, and unfortunately this is an older version of it, so it tells you to take the screen off and everything. That shouldn't now be necessary. Since they've updated to sending out this type of cable, they've recently, I think yesterday or the day before, released a video on how to just replace this cable. So if you follow the same route as I did and you get to this manual, don't bother doing all of this. You're just taking apart bits you don't need to. If you can't find the video from Gratkit, just reach out to me through 3DP Rescue or the YouTube channel or anywhere else you know you can find me. I will find you a link to the new video that they've done, and if I can get a working link I will also fit it to the end of this video so that it's easier for people to find it. But essentially you just take out the old cable, drop this one in. The shorter end goes to the motherboard, which is under this heater plate. The longer end comes up and goes into the back of the screen here. So I'm doing this fresh. I haven't fitted one of these cables yet, but when I was working on my original dryer that had some issues, I have taken bits of it apart. So I have a rough idea how these bits go together, but if you're handy with a screwdriver, it's not exactly going to be the most difficult thing in the world. So you just pop out these 4 Phillips screws. I've got a number 2 Phillips screwdriver here. The metal rollers themselves, you just tuck a finger under and lift and they come out. And when you get this plate off, don't just yank it straight out because it has got components on the back of it that are connected to the board. And obviously, like all electronics, make sure you are fully disconnected from the power. And as this is a heater, just in case there's anybody following who isn't used to this sort of thing, make sure it's cool before you start poking at it. Now, in newer versions of this, they have already resolved the issue. So you only follow these steps if you've got one of these early versions and you find that you've got the dead screen suddenly. Just reach out to Gratkit, and they are very good at sending out the cables and instructions on how to work on it. Okay, so what you do is you tuck this part off to the side so you can reach the board. And then now let me get this one closer so you can see what I'm doing. hopefully without killing my camera feed. And now I've killed my camera feed. Okay, I'm just going to pause while I get the camera feed back. Okay, so I've got my camera feed back. I've picked up all the bits and bobs that I just knocked onto the floor. Here we go. So let's see if we can get you a closer look in there. Okay. Down inside here, you've got your main board here. Just be careful on the back of this plate, because if you've got one of the earlier versions, you've just got a thermistor sticking up there. Try not to knock that, and when you finish, the instructions just say to make sure it's still standing up proud like this and not touching the surface. This only applies to some of the earlier versions. I believe the later one, this has been replaced with a holder, so it's not as easy to catch. Then all you do is you just reach down here, you've got a couple of JST connectors, and you just remove those, which is sometimes easier said than done. There we go. And then you can slide that out of your way. And if you look at these two different plugs, they are different sizes. So you can't plug them in the wrong way round or reverse the polarity. So just put that safely to one side. And then over here, this is where your ribbon cable goes into the board. And it follows up like this, over the hinge, and then up inside and to the back of the screen. So before I give anybody serious vertigo, I'm going to set this down now, hopefully without scrambling my feed again. There we go. Okay, so can we get it like that? So what you want to do, on the board is a white port with a little black retaining clip. You just pull that clip up gently, and then you should be able to lift the cable out. Once you've done that, you can just gently peel it, and then you should be able to chase it around the inside of the the lid to the screen. I knew what I meant. And then when you get to the top, same thing here, just a little clip, and it's stuck back down. Of course it has, because it's sticky. Same thing there, just a black retaining clip, if you can feel it. Press that down, just there, and that releases it. Then you put this one out your way. Then you come back to the control board, have a look at your replacement cable, which is blocked by that. So again, this shorter end is what runs the control board, the longer bit runs up inside the lid to the display. So do the bottom end first, and if you have a look at it, you will see it's got contacts one side, and on the back is just solid film. So with the orientation like this, you want the film part facing you and the contacts facing the back of the filament dryer. And if you just lift up that retaining clip again, this is where it gets a bit fiddly, because as you push it in, it can press that clip back down. And you're a little bit tight for space there, but you should be able to just, and I'm making this look way more complicated than it is because I didn't think to tilt it like that. Okay, let's lift up so I can get the light to it. Nope, missed. Oh, okay, let's make life easier with this bit. This is not as per the instructions, but fumbling around in there I keep missing. So we take that screw out, and that one, and there we go. Don't go pulling on this because you've still got another cable connected. That's that screw out of the way. And you've got another cable just here. Let's just pull that one out of the way. Here we go. Right. Let's try that again. Now I can get you a closer look. So, just here is this retaining clip I'm talking about, if I can hold it in frame. So you lift it up like that. Yeah, no, I can't film this and do it at the same time. Let's come back over the overhead cam. So you lift the clip up, you hold that with one hand, you tuck your cable in with the other hand, whilst your third and fourth hands hold everything else in place. There we go, and once it's slipped into place you'll feel it, and you can lock it down with the clip. There you go, so now that's in there straight, and now we can put it back, hopefully with less faff. And note to self, when you mute everything, so you're doing a video and you don't get interruptions, you do actually need to mute everything. There's always something I forget. Anyone who's watched many of my videos knows I tend to leave all the faffing about in place. I don't do slick edits and cuts. But the only cuts I do to my video are at the start and the end to remove any preamble or when it's run on. If you were here in the room with me, you'd see me doing all of this and me chattering away while I'm doing it, not paying attention. Taking way longer than needed. I just think it's easier to see how someone does this from start to finish than a slick, smooth video where they've probably done it a dozen times over or edited out all the bits where they're going around in circles like I've just done. So having done that far, now this blue tab should be facing you and the contacts on the other side should be facing downwards with it in this orientation. Make sure you haven't got a twist in the cable, and then give it a turn back like that, about 90 degrees. Don't snap it, but just get it so it's got a bit of an angle there, because it's got to hold that sort of angle while you're plugging it into the back of here. And the video also suggests you peel back a bit of the stickiness, and we will find out in a minute if that helps or if that means I just get it stuck to everything and have to start over. I'm just going to fold that over like that. Here we go. Right. So. Yep, thought you'd miss. Okay, did I get that in place or did I completely miss? No, completely missed. Right, hang on. Let's get some tweezers or something. No, that's not going to work. Like that. Now I get why the first set of instructions had you removing the screen. If you could remove the screen, you could guide that in a lot more simply, like I did with the other one. Okay, right. To save having an hour of me fumbling and fiddling, I'm going to pause this. Once I get that in place and I finish swearing, I'll restart the video again. Right, I won't tell you how long I've just spent fiddling and faffing trying to get that cable to fit from the underneath, but needless to say, I decided I wanted to get this done at some point this evening. So I've pried off the screen cover as per the original instructions. It's just held down with a bit of tacky double-sided tape sort of thing on the back. So just very gently pry it out, ideally with something plastic or a spudger. I just use my thumbnail. And now you're going to need a slightly smaller Phillips screwdriver. Because there's two screws holding the screen in place. Now, that should lift out. And I need to get the cable, which of course I can't do because it's inside the box. Right. Okay. There we go. Sturdy. So yeah, if you like really slick, smooth, carefully edited and tweaked videos, you're not going to find them on this channel unless I've linked to someone else's. I've got a second one of these dryers, so I may well just do a quick run through once I know this works. Just showing the steps without all of the messing about, but right now I'd just like to get one sorted so I know this works. Again, here's where you need about 8 hands, because you need to hold the retaining clip open and the screen and then slide the connector in. But there we go. Right, that's now in. Lock it in place before you accidentally pull it back out. And then you can slide the screen back in, drop it in place, and just by accident, a couple of full filament boxes are just right for holding that corner balanced, so you can keep this on the angle. It doesn't have to be Gratkit filament, just happens that I'd ordered some the other day that's still sat to one side in a box, so and this better work after all of this, because I've tried very hard to avoid swearing on my videos. And if you know me to talk to in real life, you know swearing is something I do an awful lot of. Okay, so that should hopefully just stick back in place. There we go. Right, so now quick double check. We've got the cable there, all hooked up, and the cable up the top hooked up. So next up, just need to, where is it? Reconnect these cables. Really? Come on. There we go. Having a fingers and thumbs day. Okay, and then, yeah, just straighten out that thermistor bubble so it's not resting against the plate. Hopefully then we should be able to just drop this down. Sorry for that squeaking noise, especially for anyone in headphones. We picked up there. Oh, it was a bit of filament wisp. Thought it was a bit of copper wire. Didn't want to short it out. Right, okay. And take 200. There we are. So drop that back down in. I will put this all straight, but I want to fire it up first. Where's my power? There we are. Ouch. And yes, we have a working display. Okay, so now kill the power and we can fit it all back together. So up you come. Oh. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, do hit subscribe so you can see lots more how not to do it videos. So we know that's now working, so we should be able to stick this into place. Hopefully without sticking it everywhere but where it's meant to go. Right. If this goes in straight, I will be amazed. No, that's too tight. No, don't pull back out, please, don't pull back out. Okay, try that again. A bit more slack down there, thank you very much. And now it's stuck to my finger. So this is why it baffles me that people actually ask for and follow my advice on fixing their printers. I can make the simplest job into a very convoluted round trip. Normally because I've gone at it like a bull at the gate and haven't actually paid any attention to any instructions. Right. Okay, straighten the thermistor out again. Find the screws I've just scattered everywhere. If anyone from Gratkit sees this, please tell me that your engineers had this sort of faff a few times before they got the knack of it. Because the video that I saw is very slick. I'd love to know how many times you had to redo that. Perhaps your engineers did it in one because they're not as clumsy. These screws are only self-tapping into plastic, so don't over-tighten them, or it will twist, dig out the hole, and then you've got a screw that's just going to rattle loose. And yes, I do know that from much experience. Oh, don't fall down inside. And many mistakes. Right, that screw can come out and straighten up because that's gone in sideways. Okay, so we should have that all straightened out. And now we just need this side. This is where I'm hoping pulling that tab back a little bit, yep, made it easier for me to grip. Because it should, I think, go like that with a little bit of a loop and then find its way up to the screen without going sideways like that. Come on, stay in the slot. Thank you. Don't let any of my faffing about put you off buying one of these dryers. Like I said, they have resolved this issue in newer versions, and fair play to them. Their response since I first raised this has been absolutely brilliant. So, if you are betting on whether it will go bang, place your bets now because I'm about to plug it back in. And yes, we have a working dryer with RGB, of course. So let's turn off the power. Okay, so now you've got a nice bit of flex there, which hopefully will do the trick. Only time will tell whether instead of going here it will go on these stress points, but hopefully not, because there's more room for flex. I think part of the problem was this loop was sticking to itself and then getting trapped in the joint there. So we then just drop the rollers back in. And the centre one. Oh, smooth. Really? There we go. And we have a fully working dryer. And it only took me about 2 days. Or so it feels. Oh yeah, and the tilt alarm still works. So thank you very much, Gratkit, for sending me out the replacement parts and walking me through this with one of your engineers. I shall now do the same all over again with my other dryer.